Hello and welcome to you in a new video from the Digital SAT with me, Mr. Gamal Hassan. In today's video, we're going to answer two questions from the Digital SAT official test 1, questions 9 and 11. And I chose these two questions because they are of the same category or belong to the same category. And we discussed before that it is very important for you to know the category from the question stem here to know how to tackle the question, because as we said before, Digital SAT, there are many categories and every single category has its own way of how to be tackled. And from the question stem here, I can tell that these two questions belong to one category, which is text structure and purpose question. Because for question number 9 here, when you find this format, an underlined sentence within a text, and the question asks you to tell the function of the underlined sentence within the text as a whole. For sure, this is a structure question. This is a structure. Okay, asks you about the structure or how the author structures or writes the piece of writing. So it asks you about how. On the other hand, from the question stem here for question number 11, you're going to find the question asks you about the main purpose. The purpose means why. The purpose of something is why something exists. So here, this asks you about why. And these are of the same category, text structure and purpose questions, because the way of tackling them is the same. And I'm going to tell you how to tackle these questions. Here, okay, for purpose and or for structure and purpose questions, you have 5 steps to be tackled, okay, or you're gonna go through 5 steps. The first one is to read the question stem, as I discussed before, to know the category of the question. Then you're gonna read the text carefully. And then the third step is to summarize the text. But the only difference here is for the purpose question, you're gonna summarize the text as a whole, as one unit, okay? And for the structure, whenever you find a word or a sentence that is underlined and you need to know the function of this specific sentence, so you're gonna summarize every single sentence on its own, because you know that every single sentence has its own idea, and to know the relation between the ideas that comes before and after the underlined sentence and the idea in the sentence or the underlined sentence itself. And then the fourth step is to make a prediction, and then you're gonna check your prediction to or against the answer choices. So that's how we're gonna tackle these questions. So I'm gonna put this into practice. And as I said before, the only difference is that for this question that asks you about the function or the structure question, you're gonna summarize every single idea on its own to know the function or the relation of this underlined sentence to the ideas in sentences that come before and after it immediately. So I'm going to read and I'm going to put this into practice. So I'm going to read. A study by a team including finance professor Madhu suggests. So the team suggests that exposure to sunshine during the workday can lead to overly optimistic behavior. So here is a suggestion, and the suggestion is that sunshine, so we can say that sunshine equals optimistic behavior. So the idea in the first sentence is that exposure to sunshine means optimistic behavior. And now we're going to go through the underlined sentence. Using data spanning from 1994 to 2010 for a set of US companies, the team compared over 29 annual earnings forecasts of the actual earnings later reported by those companies. So this is, we can say that they have a suggestion here, and then the team made a study or conducted a study. They conducted a study, okay? So we can say that the underlined sentence talks about how the team conducted the study. And then we're gonna compare, we're gonna read the last sentence and we're gonna just summarize it. So the team found that the greater the exposure to sunshine at work in 2 weeks before a manager submitted an earnings forecast, the more the manager's forecast exceeded what the company actually earned that year. So this is the finding. So first of all, they suggested that the exposure to sunshine may lead to optimistic behavior, and then they made a study, and then the finding of the study that when workers have a good exposure to sunshine, this increases their productivity. So here we can say that the summary is that this is a suggestion by the team that sunshine equals optimistic behavior. Then they conducted a study on many and studied the samples or earnings of many companies, and then the finding of the study. So I can predict now. It's time for me to predict. So I'm going to predict that the function of the underlying sentence is to present the study, okay, or how the team conducted the study. So I'm going to check the answer choices now. So is the function of the underlying sentence to summarize the results? No, for sure, this is not correct because the results were discussed in the last sentence, not in the underlined sentence. B, to present a specific example that illustrates the study's finding. For sure, the underlying sentence presents many examples because the team studies the findings or the earnings of 29,000 companies. C, to explain a part of a methodology used in a team study. For sure, this is correct. Okay, because it discusses the underlying sentence discusses the way they, or part of the way they conducted their study or the methodology of the study. But I'm gonna go through letter D to make sure, or the answer choice D to make sure that C is the correct answer. To call out a challenge the team faced in conducting the analysis. For sure, this is not correct because nothing in the text discusses any challenges. So C is the correct answer. Now we're going to go to question number 11. This is a purpose question. So I'll read and then I will summarize the text as in this poem, the speaker is addressing Paul Laurence, a black author. So here the speaker in this poem talks about a black author, Paul Laurence, saying that thou with the stroke of a mighty pen has told of joy and mirth and read the hearts and souls of men. So here the speaker describes the black author here as being able to read the hearts and souls of men as cradled from their birth, from the language of the flowers thou hast read them all. And he can read the souls of men and the language of flowers. Thou hast read them all, and in the little brook, a brook here is like a little stream of water, responded to thy call. So here I can tell that here the speaker in his poem describes the author Lawrence, or the black author Paul Lawrence, as being able to read the minds and the hearts of people and the language of flowers, and even when he talks, even streams of water can answer his call. So here we can say that it tells us or describes this author as being able to understand in many different fields like people and flowers and streams of water. So now I'm gonna read the answer choices with my prediction or in my mind. So number or letter A, to praise a certain writer for being especially perceptive regarding people and nature. For sure, this is the correct answer. This is correct because here, as the author was described in the passage here as being able to read the souls of men and the language of flowers, and even rocks can answer his call. For sure, it can tell us that the purpose of the poem is to describe the author as being able to respond or understand nature and people as well. Okay, so this is the correct answer. So I'm gonna go through the answer choices to make sure that A is the correct answer. So B, to establish that a certain writer has read extensively about a variety of topics. For sure, this is not the main purpose, or it was not mentioned or discussed in a text or in a poem here. To call attention to a certain writer's careful and elaborately detailed writing process. For sure, the writing process of the author was not discussed in a poem here. To recall or recount fond memories of an afternoon spent in nature with a certain writer. For sure, this is not the purpose. So A here is the correct answer. Wish you the best, and don't forget to follow me on Facebook and YouTube, Teaching Tactics with Mr. Gamal.